You meet each other for the first time, and something clicks. The person standing in front of you is a complete stranger to you, and yet it feels like you've known each other forever. By the way, this can also happen even if you only meet online or connect via music. If this sounds familiar to you, be sure to check out today's video. In this video, we explain why you can have a deep spiritual connection with someone you are just meeting. If you like our videos, please support us with a thumbs up, subscribe to activate the little bell, and look forward to the videos that we upload for you every day. Number 1. Coincidence, the long arm of fate. Coincidence, a random momentary crossing of pathways? People try to downplay the power of coincidence and its influence upon fate. Some say that it can't be coincidence, it must be fate. It must have been foreordained. Either way, what happens happens and is able to change one's life completely. Especially in interpersonal encounters, we experience events that astonish us and fascinate us all the more. It is often only in retrospect that one realizes how the jigsaw pieces of the big picture have been put together through apparently random events. But there are also cases in which you recognize an event as extraordinary right from the beginning. Maybe you get goosebumps and the coincidence is burned into your memory. Encounters with other people who seem deeply familiar to you, even though you had never met them before, clearly belong in this category. Number 2. Spiritual connection. The British biologist Rupert Sheldrake asserts the existence of spiritual connections on the basis of his extensive investigations into telepathic phenomena between humans and animals. He does not refer to subtle vision or the calculable energy field that surrounds the Earth. He speaks of morphogenetic or morphic field. In this sphere, beings are connected to each other and exchange ideas unconsciously and effortlessly across dimensions of time and space. Of course, it is difficult to prove his theory, and realistic natural scientists and colleagues are highly critical of his concept. They claim that the amazing synchronicities and perceptions that can occur, for example, between animals and their owners, but also between family members or lovers, are just coincidence. But anyone who, like Sheldrake, deals with these diverse phenomena in detail will clearly recognize a pattern, the pattern of spiritual connection. Number 3. Reincarnation. In many spiritual schools of thought, the concept of rebirth is self-evident. The Celts once believed in it, as do various Indian-influenced cultures today. In our broad and many other parts of the world, Christianization has put an end to that. The notion of heaven and hell as destinations for the deceased is about 2,000 years old. From the standpoint of the actual age of mankind, that's a fairly short period of time. Of course, no one knows exactly how the eternal cycle of life and death actually works. Science disregards anything that doesn't happen in front of your eyes or that cannot be calculated with the help of formulas and algorithms. But the soul is not well understood, and what happens to it after death is rather inexplicable. Nevertheless, we experience connection and magic moments. Number 4. Karma. In the Hindu teachings of the Vedas, the term samsara is used to describe the perpetual cycle of being, the eternal cycle of becoming and dying. Karma means that every action has a consequence that must be balanced. It is not known whether the compensation will happen in this life or in the next. It is clear that it must come. From the principle of karma, interpersonal complications and crises occur today because in one or more past lives, something must have gone awry between these souls. The aim of samsara is to dissolve these entanglements in order to restore unity and balance. The saying, "In every crisis lies an opportunity," is no coincidence. Number 5. Plato's spherical people, or the twin flame. The Greek philosopher Plato told his students the story of the spherical being. Man and woman originally existed in a spherical whole. Unfortunately, the gods had become enraged and smashed the sphere, separating those who belonged together. Since then, everyone has been looking for his other half. Also, the idea of the twin flame, seeking reunion after separation from its twin, reflects this idea. So, according to these concepts, somewhere out there, he or she is already eagerly waiting for you. Have you found each other? When you do, it will be a deep connection. Number 6, connections through music. Music is the medium that most directly affects our emotions. A composer conveys his emotions in his music. The emotion-packed music resonates with some people very deeply, though others are only casually affected. In these frequencies lies another spiritual connection. To the affected listener, it is as if his own feelings were proclaimed in tones and beats, and the lyrics appear to describe the workings of his own soul. Naturally, the music industry knows how to hone in on the emotions of their targeted audiences, but the power of music goes much further than a catchy tune. It connects people. Number 7, soulmates recognize each other. Regardless of gender or age, when we meet people with whom we sense a deep connection, we like to look them in the eye and are amazed at how effortlessly even profound conversations develop. We sense a common worldview and feel trust and empathy enough to reveal private details of our lives. You can laugh heartily with these people, but also grieve deeply depending on the situation. Two people can be magically attracted to each other and sense the presence of the other, sometimes even across great distances. Those who are open to the idea of families of souls have no doubt that this connection goes far beyond the mundane present. By the way, soulmates do not only exist among humans. There are also numerous examples between animals and humans or animals and animals that exemplify deeper connections. It is as if it could be explained by learned behavior. The idea of soul families may be a coherent approach if you really want to look for explanations. Above all, dogs and horses accompany people on a very intense level as loyal companions and protectors. They do not abandon their human partners until the death of one or the other. Unconditional love can be learned from these animals, especially if you are willing to give of yourself and if you expect to be reborn. It is only natural to conclude that animal souls are also part of the eternal cycle. Today's conclusion: spiritual connections are made for eternity. Cosmic energy, morphogenetics, or karmic entanglements, our lives may reach further than our minds can follow. It's not so much a question of belief as it is a question of perception. If the above examples sound familiar to you, you may now have an explanation for them. Feel free to write us in the comments section if you have ever felt such a spiritual connection. That's it for today.
Thanks for watching. Did you find this information helpful? Do you have experience with it? We would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts. For more resources about mental health, self-improvement, and psychology, visit our website. You'll find the link in the video description where you can also connect with us on social media and sign up for our email list. Take care of yourself and have a beautiful day.